Please talk about crying on your birthday every year. Is it fair to expect a partner to plan your birthday for you? How are you processing the fact that you're aging? Do you feel bad about wrinkles? Why am I always sad on my birthday? Welcome back to the Hello Haze podcast, and today we're talking about birthdays. I turned 31 this week. I don't know when I want to publish this episode, but by the time the episode goes live, I will be 31. It's Friday morning right now. And last week when I was in Florida, with my family, and my mom asked me, "So Alexandra, what are you doing for your birthday?" And I immediately snapped at her. Or it wasn't quite a snap, but just my classic Alexandra. I wouldn't say it's a snap. It wasn't a rude response, but I was immediately I don't know, Mom. Why are you asking me that? I have no plans. I have no intentions of making plans. How could you even consider asking me what I'm going to do for my birthday when we have all of these things going on? My sister was in the car too at the time, and they sort of responded "Okay, Alexandra, too busy to think about your birthday." They were poking fun at me a little bit, which I appreciate, and is sort of a prerequisite to being close with me. I can be very stubborn. I'm not sure if that's something. Sometimes I wonder what you can tell about me on the internet. Obviously, sometimes the way I present myself, it's not super intentional, but in some of the work that I present, it's much more scripted and prepared. So I don't know if you can see that I'm stubborn, but maybe you're Haze, you're not fooling anybody. We can tell that you're a stubborn bitch. Anyway, I'm pretty stubborn. And I appreciated that they could poke fun of me a little bit. And when they did, I softened a little bit and explained, there's a lot going on right now. Trying to plan my birthday has been stressful. I will go out to dinner with Brian. We'll probably go to a great restaurant. And I did end up getting a reservation at this Italian restaurant in Venice called Felix that I've been really excited to go to. So we're going to go to Felix. We'll make smash burgers the night before because making smash burgers has become some sort of tradition. And a smash burger is my favorite type of burger. We have a friend who's in town this weekend and is staying with us, and I love him, and that'll be great. But I didn't really make big plans. No big deal. No big deal that I don't have a lot of plans. But then, as soon as I got home, Brian wasn't on the trip in Florida with us. As soon as I got home, I hugged Brian in the kitchen and I said, "Can we talk about my birthday and what we're going to do to make sure that I don't feel sad?" So therein kind of lies this contradiction that I don't care about my birthday and I don't want to do anything huge. And I also care deeply. And I suspect that some of you might feel that same contradiction in your life about your birthday. So I want to talk about it. I want to talk about being a birthday person versus not being a birthday person. And then I'm also going to noodle on some of the specific questions that you guys asked me about birthdays when I did my little Instagram story question. You guys sent me some great stuff and got my brain flowing. So we're going to dive into that. But first, on being a birthday person, I think my truth is that I'm not a birthday person. When I say that I'm not a birthday person, I mean that I'm not the person who's going to organize and throw a big birthday party with everybody that they know. I'm not going to talk about my birthday month. I might make a joke to Brian about it being my birthday month and he has to follow all my directions and do whatever I want to do, but I'm not going to make birthday month a thing. I'm also generally not going to wait around for my birthday in order to do things that I want. I don't want or expect gifts or large displays of love from my friends. I don't expect that of them. And even if somebody were to forget my birthday or text me really late in the day, I would not hold that against them. Yeah, the birthday is not the day of the year that I feel you have to show up for me. To challenge myself a little bit, I kind of am a birthday person in some other ways. I enjoy acknowledging it. I enjoy having a birthday weekend filled with things that make me feel good and safe and loved. I like getting spoiled by my husband. I like getting presents. So you could say I'm a birthday person because I like getting presents, but who doesn't like getting presents? I would enjoy and do enjoy doing small dinners with friends within different friend groups, whether that's a one-on-one dinner or if it's a group of 4 of us. When I was talking with Brian, when I came home from Florida and was what should we do to make sure that I don't feel sad? I don't want to feel lonely. He's well, why don't we invite all of your friends over? Because I have lots of friends here that Brian isn't friends with. I've made my own girlfriends and it's not one big girl group. I just have individual relationships because that's how I like to have friends. I'm not a big girl group girl. And the thought, like, everybody would get along and everybody would be great. But the thought of like inviting all of my people from different walks of life together doesn't feel comforting to me. And I know that does feel comforting to other people. I know other people love being able to connect everybody in their life. But for me, I feel pressure being the convener. It's literally hilarious to think about how we were going to have such a big wedding before COVID happened. Like, that would have been so stressful for me. I'm so glad that it ended up being 18 people. Anyway, it's funny though, because I say that I wouldn't want to bring all these people from my life together for my birthday, which is true. Bible, stand by that. But I daydream about, like, I've always wanted to write a book, and I daydream about one day, God willing, I'll have like a book launch party. And you bet I will be inviting every single person important in my life from all facets of life. You bet I will be inviting them. So like, why? And I don't think I'll be anxious about worrying about if they're happy at the party. And I wonder why. Like, why do I not see a problem, an inner problem, not like I don't think there's anything wrong with throwing yourself a big birthday with everybody you know from different walks of life. Not different walks of life, different parts of your life. Why would I be uncomfortable for my birthday? But I don't think I'd be uncomfortable for like writing a book, like a book launch party. And I think it's because accomplishments don't come with baggage, but birthdays do. Birthdays are like inherently a memory. Birthdays are inherently a memory, or they represent a memory. And not all memories make us feel good, and not all birthday memories are bad. Like, one of my favorite birthday memories was my junior year of college. I turned 21. I had become best friends that year with someone who I wasn't super close with before, but we were living together and we had been in the same sorority. I deactivated from my sorority at that point, but most of my other friends and like my other friend group had all gone abroad. And so it put me in this position to become like really good friends with this person that I was living with. And I adore her, and it's a cherished friendship in my life. But it was the two of us, and my mom came out. My mom flew out to celebrate our 21st with me. I was wearing we went out to dinner, and I wore this little red dress from Nasty Gal. Literally, like, did it cover my ass? Unclear. And that weekend, I think like the weekend before, was when I had hooked up with Brian for the first time. We were just talking about this the other night. This is going to be my 11th birthday with Brian. 11th birthday. That's fucking crazy. Anyway, so we had just hooked up for the first time. And in retrospect, like, it was clear that we were falling in love with each other, but it didn't seem serious at the time. But I had said to him, I'm turning 21 next week. My mom's coming out. And he like suggested meeting my mom at the bar. Like, is your mom going to come to Skeeps? Skeeps was the name of the bar. And I'm like, there's no fucking way that I'm introducing you to my mom. So they did not meet, but I think I told her about him at the time. They ended up meeting that summer. But that birthday to me stands out as like a really fun, special one. I had dinner with my best friends and my mom, went to the bar, and then I ended up like going and sleeping at this boy's house who was nice to me. He was handsome and smart and nice to me. And nice to me at the time was like, what? Somebody can be interested in you and not be like fucking around? Side note, this is a funny story. I have a very sensitive stomach, and I was also a little socially anxious. And I drank. I would go out and I would drink in college. And at that time, I wasn't super good at monitoring how much I was drinking for my body size and like all of those things. So I would often bring a bag of like Cheerios or pretzels or something in my purse with me when we went out, so that I was making sure I was like eating while I was drinking. It would help make sure that I wasn't going to get sick later. Anyway, when I went back to Brian's house that night, we like did our thing. We were in bed we were sleeping, and he got up in the middle of the night and stepped on something when he went to the bathroom. And it was a Ziploc bag full of something. And in the morning, he saw that it was a bag of Cheerios, but he told me that he at the time had thought it was like an ounce of weed, like so much fucking weed packed into a Ziploc bag. But it was just my Cheerios. One of my favorite birthday memories. Not all memories are bad. I even have another favorite birthday memory that's started out as a terrible birthday, but then ended up being one of the most precious. And that was the year I turned 18. And that year, my senior year of high school, I had a boyfriend in high school who was 2 years older than me. We had met at camp, and God, the whole thing was beautiful at times, but ultimately a nightmare and the cause of a lot of my, maybe not the cause, but triggered a lot of my high school depression. And 2 years older than me. And we did the thing when he first went to college of like, we're not going to completely break up. We're going to talk all the time. I'm going to come visit you. We're going to see each other when you're home, but like, you're also going to do your own thing. And every time I went to go visit him, like something terrible would happen. There was like the girl who I thought he was sleeping with that was his best friend, and he would assure me that they weren't. And of course they were. And I continued to go. My mom never wanted to let me go visit, but I would say things to my mom like, you're ruining my life if you don't let me go. And I'd go. And anyway, 18th birthday, I was supposed to fly out for his formal, and the formal was taking place over my birthday weekend. And I don't know how far in advance, maybe a couple of weeks before, he called me and told me not to come. He was going to bring this other girl. And oh my God, it was so devastating. And at the time it was like, what kind of asshole would uninvite his high school girlfriend from formal for her fucking birthday weekend? How could he do this to you on your 18th birthday? But in retrospect, like, that's probably the best thing he did, because there's nothing worse than going somewhere where you're not wanted, where someone's trying to make you believe that you are, but you know better. And then you arrive and you're not home and you're unsafe. I actually like feel shivers through my spine thinking about some of the weekends when I was there and how uncomfortable I felt and how desperately I just wanted to feel safe, not even want to go home. Because sometimes when when you're in love, whether it's, I think the feeling of like yearning for someone's love, whether it's in a romantic relationship or with a friend, and like, that deep down that you're not really wanted there, genuinely wanted. You might be like fake wanted. Like the other person might not know they don't want you. It's just hard when you want to feel safe, but you don't want to go home because you're scared that if you go home, it'll be over for good. And you're not yet ready for that. Anyway, it ended up being a blessing because I didn't have another one of those weekends. But even more than that, it ended up being a blessing because instead of flying out for formal, my mom took me and 3 of my best friends to dinner at Capitol Grill, which is this great steakhouse. Me and my 3 best friends, my sister and my brother, and everyone wore black, and I wore a pink dress from Zara. Again, a mini little dress. Maybe I need to get some like mini dresses back in my life. And we took pictures, and how the drama of everybody else wearing black, but me wearing pink. And it's just another precious memory. And then I have some birthday memories that are just bad. No happy spin on it. They're just painful. And then some painful birthday memories aren't even related to like specific birthdays or specific years, but they're rather just, they remind you of the realities of your life. It's impossible for me to have a birthday without thinking about my life, both the beautiful parts and the things that I'm grateful for and the things that make me deeply sad. But I guess the things that make me deeply sad also have created the beautiful life that I have. So maybe I could say that I'm grateful for all of it. I don't know if I'm there. I don't know if I'm there yet. Sometimes I am. Sometimes I'm like, Alexandra, like the stuff, if you hadn't experienced X, then you wouldn't get to experience Y. I'm a person who feels big things, right? I experience everything magnified, which is such a brilliant, beautiful way to live a life. Like, how sad would it be if I was just monotone and because if I didn't feel things so big, then I wouldn't feel the good things so big. And I feel good things so big. You think you can come up with a better fucking way to say that, Hayes? No, not right now. So I guess when I say that I don't care about my birthday, but I actually do, what I mean is I don't have big feelings about my birthday, the day specifically, but I do have big feelings about my past, about my life. And for that reason, my birthday will always make me cry. Usually though, yes, there's tears of sorrow or nostalgia on my birthday, but there's also usually tears of joy, because I'm not sure if you can have big tears of joy without also having the pain. Nothing revolutionary, but I think it's true and helpful. It's been helpful to remind myself of that, especially as of late when life has been really hard. switching gears now, I'm going to look at some of your questions. So, okay, my mom is my biggest Instagram fan. I appreciate her. My question box on Instagram says, questions for my birthday themed podcast. Okay. And my mom wrote, gratefulness and love. That is not a question, Mom. Let's see. I'm always disappointed on my birthday while also going into the day expecting nothing. Well, I think you shouldn't expect nothing. There's a balance here. Don't expect nothing. Just have expectations that you are most likely, that will most likely be met. So who's one person in your life that you can plan a breakfast with, that you know you'll have a good time at this breakfast? You know? And tell that person it's your birthday. Like, don't set yourself up for failure. I wonder if accidentally, by expecting nothing, you are setting yourself up for failure. Sometimes we do that. I definitely do that myself. So you should expect something, but create your expectations carefully. Let's see what else. Is it unfair to want my shy boyfriend to be outgoing and conversational without me when he's hanging out with my friends on my birthday? Is it unfair? Well, I'd have to know more about your boyfriend. Like, if it's important to you to be with a partner who's outgoing and conversational, that's a real like personality trait that lots of people have. Does your boyfriend have that? Or is he shy or socially anxious? If he is shy and socially anxious, it's not like it's not a death sentence, but he might have a harder time socializing and hanging out with your friends while you're not there. So if he isn't actively working on it, and if he doesn't have an interest in actively working on it, it could be unfair to expect that of him. It could also be unfair for you to be with someone who isn't compatible with this thing that you want. I would talk to him about it if you haven't yet. You can say, it's important to me. It's important to me that you hang out with my friends and are comfortable around them. It's important to me that you're comfortable talking to my friends at my birthday party. I know that feels hard though for you, so I want to help plan in advance so that you can be as comfortable as possible. Like, can we talk about this together? I want to better understand so that I can better support you. I would approach the conversation kind of like that. Question. How are you processing your own physical aging versus the people around you too? I'm also 30 and I'm graying and wrinkling and feel like I should change that, but I don't want to. I think the fact that you don't want to says everything. If you don't want to change your gray hairs or your wrinkles, then do not. Done. How am I processing it? Different days I feel differently. I haven't done anything to my face. I've done lots of stuff to my face, but I have not gotten Botox. I have not gotten Botox or any filler, which I feel like are the two like anti-aging, are the two treatments that I'm aware of that I could do with my face to address the signs of aging in my face. I do color my hair. Though I don't have grays yet, but I am not naturally blonde. How am I processing it? I mean, frankly, like some days I'm like, damn girl, you look like not a day older than 23. And then other days I'm like, holy shit, your smile lines, you look like your mother. I can't control how I age. And I do think there's a lot of beauty in aging. And there are so many women that I look up to and that I think are beautiful who show their signs of aging. So I try to be conscious of that. You know, if I think that so-and-so can age beautifully, why can't I? I also try to take really good care of myself and like do things that do feel like within my control related to the way I look. Like I get regular facials. I've gotten regular facials since I was 20 years old. Kind of doing this one thing for like taking care of myself and having like a physical beauty routine helps me not feel stressed about aging because I know that I'm taking care of myself and I'm doing things that make me feel beautiful. Exercise, facials. I love getting my hair done. Like I allow myself to indulge in a beauty routine that feels good. I don't like actively struggle with the physical piece of aging. Where I do struggle sometimes is like, I'm 31 and what have I accomplished? That feels hard for me. Like when I read a new book and I'm like, oh my God, this person's brilliant. And I find out they're 25. That will send me into existential dread for a little bit. But I'm trying to get better at that because we are not in a rush. I'm trying to remind myself these days that I'm not in a rush. There literally is no rush. What do I feel a rush for? I'd be sad if I died. I think what I would say sometimes is like, I'd be sad if I died and I didn't do XYZ, but no, I wouldn't. I would just be dead. So there's no fucking rush. There's no fucking rush. I'm often planning my own celebration as a single person. Thoughts on not resenting that? I think that there's a couple of ways to approach it. I think one is that, is there anybody in your life who you could share this with who could then help take on some of the planning? In general, I think planning our own stuff, partnered or not, is a great thing to do. So I completely understand, like, if you're forced to do it or you feel like you don't have any other options, I see how that can lead to resentment. So I wonder if there's anybody that you can share that with and ask them to take on a piece of it, or to plan it with you, or even to just be a part of be like your brainstorming buddy. I think extending that vulnerability with a friend, saying, I don't mind planning my own birthday, but I've started to feel sad that I don't have a partner to plan it for me. If that's how you feel, I don't want to put words in your mouth. If you have a friend who you can trust and you think would receive that well, maybe sharing it with them, and then even just having them to talk about the planning process with would help. And if planning the celebration, I also think that, like, just powering, I don't always believe in just powering through it. Like, some people might say, well, if you want the celebration, but you resent it, just power through to have the celebration. I don't really think that's true. You have to be honest with yourself. Is the resentment you feel about planning it worth the celebration? Maybe it's worth re-examining what type of celebration you do. Maybe you do something that requires less planning. I don't know. Just one way to think about it. How do you shake wanting a big party but not having one because it feels self-centered somehow? I would just lean into the self-centered nature of it. Of course, throwing a birthday party, of course, having a birthday party is self-centered. But self-centered isn't always a bad thing. Like, are you a kind, generous, thoughtful, considerate person? Do you show the people in your life that you care about them? Do you get excited about their milestones, birthdays, promotions? Do you ask them about themselves? If so, it's okay to throw yourself a birthday party. It's not self-centered to celebrate yourself, right? So differentiate the two. If you want to throw yourself a big birthday party, do it. And just be a good, considerate person to the people in your life outside of your birthday month as well. Is it fair to expect your partner to plan your birthday for you? I don't think it's fair to expect it without telling them that that's something you would like. You have to communicate with the people close to you about how you want them to love you and show up for you and plan for you. So I don't think it's fair to expect it without a conversation. What would I say if you say to your partner, can you help me plan a birthday party this year? Can you plan me a birthday party? And they say, no, I don't want to. I don't know. I mean, I'd have to understand their reasons why. And if you're in, like, the dating stage with someone, and if that is important to you and that's a value of yours, I would take that seriously. And by take that seriously, I mean, I think about, is this the kind of person that I want to be with? What are their reasons? What are the reasons that they don't want to do this? Can I understand those reasons? And do they have enough other qualities that make me feel loved and seen and respected, that make this, that I can look past this? My boyfriend and I are the same age. I love celebrating his, but I cry for mine. Why? I think the same reasons that I was talking about before. Your boyfriend's birthday there's not emotional baggage there for you. It is just joy. You're just grateful that he exists. And I think it could actually be a helpful reframing to remember that you are that person for someone else. Your friends and your family and your boyfriend and the people who love you, when they think of your existence and your birthday, they're not thinking of their emotional baggage. They're just thinking of how you were a bright spot when you walked into their life. I think it's a beautiful thing that you love to celebrate your boyfriend's birthday. I'm sorry that you cry for yours. Or maybe I'm not sorry, because again, the fact that we cry on our birthdays means that we just are big, whole, complete people who are capable of feeling big, whole, complete things. Let's bring back having fun like a kid on our birthdays. Oh, for sure. Part of the exercise I did with Brad was, when I was talking about my birthday, he's like, close your eyes and tell me what your ideal birthday, like, it's your birthday. What does it look like? And I said, I want to wake up and have an amazing breakfast, maybe a breakfast burrito or a bacon, egg, and cheese. I want to go for a walk outside. I'd love to have brunch at, like, a cool spot with some funky orange wine, great dinner, and I'd like to go shopping and buy myself something. And by buy myself something, I mean you buy me something. And that sounds fun to me. That sounds fun to me, like a kid. Let's see. Okay. My mom always insists on taking me out to dinner with my immediate family, but often insists on picking the restaurant. Additionally, my family ends up fighting. But if I say I don't want to go, I'm hurting her and not letting her do something for me. Any thoughts? The truth is that sometimes doing the best thing for ourselves hurts other people. And if going out to dinner with your family on your birthday and letting your mom pick the restaurant and everybody fighting, if that isn't serving you, then you just say you don't want to do that. And her feelings might get hurt. And you can suggest something else. I don't want to do the family dinner this year, Mom, but I'd love to go out to breakfast with you. I'd love to do a dinner just the two of us and have some mother-daughter time. You pick. Like, you are in control of your birthday, so you pick what you want to do. But yes, that sometimes means hurting other people's feelings. But that is the price we pay sometimes for putting ourselves first. I'm having a hard time with people feeling obligated to be there because it's a birthday, like come or don't come. Don't invite people to your birthday who make you feel like an obligation. How to let people know you want them to do something to make you feel special. Tell them. That could sound like so many different things. You could say, hey, my birthday's kind of hard for me. I would love for us to do something together that feels special. Maybe these 3 ideas, help people out, but be clear about what you want, what you're looking for, why you think they're the right person to help you. And then give some ideas, and don't do it even if you feel uncomfortable. And I guess maybe the last question that I'll answer is, what do I hope? What do you hope for yourself this next year? I hope that I can put less pressure on myself. I put too much pressure on myself, and it stifles me and makes me feel like I can't breathe and sends me deeper into a depression that's kind of always there, but brings it out more. And I want to put less pressure on myself this year. And I want to regularly ask myself, is this necessary pressure? And I just I hope that I continue to have the courage to remove pressure when I can. And that I continue to be brave. That I just hope that I can continue to be brave. I feel like I've been really brave these last, a friend of mine told me last week that I've been really brave, and it made me cry. And I hope that I can continue to be brave, and I hope that I can continue to be brave. Okay. I'll see you at some point next month. The pod is not going to be weekly for a little bit while in the spirit of removing pressure. So I'll see you guys next month, and yeah. Okay. I love you guys, and I will talk to you soon.